Part 60. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 591. Brother Lei Yuan, maybe we don't need to take out the plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane. We can tell the strong men from the light plane to let them come out. It's very possible that they captured our people, and they still use this method to defraud people. A strong man from the abyss plane said in a deep voice. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded slightly. I will communicate with the powerful people in the light plane. Soon Emperor Lei Yuan contacted the Holy Word Supreme. Holy Word Supreme, what a coincidence. As soon as you said that it might be the remnants of the Yanhuang plane who took action, someone immediately contacted me and could trade the plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane back to Tianlong and the others. Emperor Lei Yuan sneered and said through the message. The Holy Word Supreme frowned secretly. Could it be that the remnants of the Yanhuang plane are really acting? He himself didn't really believe it. Holy Word Supreme, there should be plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane in your light plane. I need them to redeem people. You should be able to help, right? If we don't help, we won't have anything to say. Emperor Lei Yuan continued to transmit the message. The Holy Word Supreme took a deep breath and said, Fellow Taoist Lei Yuan, let me first ask if they have this thing on them. If so, we will help. After half a day passed, the Holy Word Supreme contacted all the other powerful people from the light plane who had left. A total of about 29 star-level experts came from the light plane, and they had 2 pieces of plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane. Fellow Daoist Lei Yuan, we have 2 plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane. They can be given to you. The Supreme Word of God preaches the word. He did not mention any other conditions so as not to anger Emperor Lei Yuan. If you take the plane fragments of the Yanhuang plane and go to the Yanhuang plane, this is a good thing, but do they still need to go to the Yanhuang plane? There are a total of 3,000 planes, and the rankings in the Yanhuang plane are already over 2,800. Even if you get all the plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane and become the master of the plane, what if you get it? It is too difficult to develop the Yanhuang plane again. The abyss plane, the light plane, and even some other powerful planes will not allow the Yanhuang plane to rise again. Not long after, Emperor Lei Yuan obtained 2 plane fragments from the Supreme Holy Word. Fellow Daoist Lei Yuan, we in the light plane are still willing to negotiate peace with the abyss plane. We hope that both of us will not go to the stage of war. That wouldn't be good for either of us. The Supreme Way of the Holy Word. Supreme Lei Yuan said in a deep voice, you from the light plane, release our people as soon as possible. The master of the Skeleton Palace has died, and the Skeleton Palace has suffered heavy losses. Don't doubt our determination to start a war in the abyss. The Holy Word plane nodded slightly. Fellow Daoist Lei Yuan, you should also consider the possibility of the remnants of Yanhuang doing this. The possibility is not low. 10%, or none at all. Emperor Lei Yuan said coldly. His attitude wasn't very good. Something happened in Thunder City. His son and disciples were all arrested, and Emperor Lei Yuan was extremely angry. Fellow Daoist Lei Yuan, as far as I know, we in the light plane have not done this. But in order to further confirm, we will send the news back to the Lord of Light, and the Lord of Light will determine whether it was done by the strong men from other light planes. The Supreme Way of the Holy Word. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded. When the Supreme Holy Word spoke of the Lord of Light, his expression became much more solemn. The light dominates Juicine Perfect's cultivation, has a 9-star immortal level system, has a plane token of the light plane, and is stronger than Juicine Perfect in the light plane. However, the Lord of Light has not reached the 10-star realm. If it were on the abyss plane, Emperor Lei Yuan would not be afraid of the Lord of Light. Farewell. The Supreme Word of God soon left. Emperor Lei Yuan sent a message to his son Tianlong Supreme. Tianlong Supreme said to Ye Chen, Senior, my father contacted me to make a transaction. We only have 2 plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane in the abyss. Father's wish is to give you both fragments. You can let go of everyone captured in Thunder City. Yachen said quietly, the 2 fragments can only be exchanged for you and the Blood Sea Demon Lord. Tianlong Supreme frowned secretly. There were many strong men in the space treasures of him and the Blood Sea Demon Lord. They were taken down, and the strong men in their space treasures were also taken down. Only redeem them and not the others. What do the rest of the people in Thunder City think? If those people died, what would their family and friends think? Senior, our abyss plane has obtained 2 plane fragments from the Yanhuang plane from the light plane. Those 2 fragments will be given to you as well. You let everyone go, including those caught in Skull City. Tianlong Supreme said in a deep voice. Yachen said with an indifferent expression, as for those people in Thunder City, if you want to trade, you can trade. If you don't want to trade, forget it. I won't force you. Also, I will collect things first and then release people. If you can't accept it, the deal will be cancelled. Yachen naturally wanted to get the 4 fragments of the Yanhuang plane. But I can't act too impatient now. I will give you a few years to think about it, and you can still exchange half a stick of incense with Emperor Lei Yuan. Tianlong Supreme immediately conveyed Yachen's meaning to his father. Soon he said, Senior, my father agreed. I will give you the 4 plane fragments. You can release all the people in Thunder City. I can give you something first, but you have to make an oath of heaven. For the 9-star immortal level strongmen, the heavenly Dao oath is not very binding. But it is still a little bit. The Holy Word Supreme and the others made the heavenly Dao oath, indicating that the matter had nothing to do with them, but the Thunder Abyss Emperor did not believe them at all. Yachen said in a calm voice, don't worry. Let's talk about it in a few years. Luo Hongjian has not yet adapted to the environment here. It would be better for him to release the Heavenly Dragon Supreme and the others after Luo Hongjian adapts to the environment here. At present, Yachen has not obtained the system from the Heavenly Dragon Supreme and the others. Some of the strongmen of the Heavenly Dragon Supreme and the others have several good systems. He let his system devour them, and then he can sign in and get excellent things. Damn it! The Thunder Emperor's face was gloomy, and soon he could no longer contact the Heavenly Dragon Supreme. In his opinion, if the remnants of the Yanhuang plane take action, they will definitely trade immediately if they can. So as not to make trouble. It is still postponed now, it should be waiting for the order of the Lord of Light, waiting for more strongmen from the light plane. Proposing a deal might just be to stabilize them. Holding Tianlong Supreme and the others in hand is also to prevent them from messing around in the next few years. Yachen didn't care what Emperor Liwen thought. He arrived at the Skeleton City. Holy Word Supreme is here. There are still 2 9-star immortal level strongmen in the light plane, and the other 9-star immortal level strongmen are scattered. They go to persuade the strongmen in the abyss plane. Holy Word Supreme, the remnants of Yanhuang proposed a deal and postponed the deal. It's really interesting. What is our abyss plane? Yachen's cold voice sounded in the ears of Holy Word Supreme. System, use the power of death to attack Holy Word Supreme. Yachen ordered. The attack power of the death power of his system has now reached the 9-star perfect level. Holy Word Supreme is a 9-star peak strongman. It is impossible to kill him directly, but it is possible to injure Holy Word Supreme and reduce his strength. The terrifying death power reached Holy Word Supreme in an instant. When the message was mentioned, the Holy Word Supreme became more alert. However, the system's death attack power was special, and a large amount of death power still entered the Holy Word Supreme's body. The Holy Word Supreme's vitality was quickly annihilated. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 592. I'm under attack, help. The face of the Holy Word Supreme changed wildly, and he immediately sent a message to the other two 9-star immortal powerhouses. They immediately helped the Holy Word Supreme eliminate the power of death in his body. In about 5 minutes, the power of death in the body of the Supreme Holy Word was eliminated. He lost a lot of vitality. The cultivation level temporarily dropped from the peak level of 9 stars to only the level of late 9 stars. Asshole! The Holy Word Supreme cursed in his heart. He didn't know who was attacking. But judging from Ye Chen's words, it should be a strong man from the abyss plane attacking him. He also sent a message to warn before taking action. It seems that the other party's purpose is not to kill him, but to beat him. As a 9-star peak level expert in the light plane, the Holy Word Supreme was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood after suffering such a loss. Brother Shenjun, it seems that the abyss plane needs to be renovated. How dare you attack Brother Shenjun, how brave the other party is. The other two powerful men around the Holy Word Supreme were also extremely angry. The eyes of the Holy Word Supreme flashed with cold light. The opponent seems to have used a system attack. The 9-star perfect level of attack power shows that the opponent's system is very powerful. Everyone, be careful. In addition, it is best for us in the light plane to have more powerful people come over. The Holy Word Supreme quickly spread the news, allowing the remaining scattered strongmen from the light plane to regroup. One of the 9-star immortal level experts went to the light plane to report the situation here. Please pay attention to safety. I will recover with all my strength first. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice. He used powerful time treasures and practiced under the acceleration of time hundreds of millions of times. A few years were enough for his strength to return to the peak of 9 stars. Apart from causing him to consume a lot of resources, Ye Chen's attacks will not have a serious impact on him. But Ye Chen's attack was not in vain. The Holy Word Supreme was attacked, and he must be even more angry with Lei Yuan Emperor and the others. Moreover, his cultivation level has fallen, and he will only be able to recover in the next few years. He will not be found near Skeleton City, so it is impossible to find him. The strong men from the light plane are likely to gather as well. It's convenient for Ye Chen to sign in here. 1 year has passed in the blink of an eye. Sign in or not? Ye Chen muttered in his heart. The power of the rest of the systems his system devoured was not very large, it was only enough for him to sign in once. He considered whether to continue signing in for another 2 years. After thinking about it for a while, Ye Chen decided to sign in directly. Now there are about 29-star immortal level experts here in the light plane. 2 years later, God knows if the experts from the light plane will still be here. System, use all the devoured system power and sign in 3 times. Ye Chen said in his mind. Good host. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host, Xuanhuan 4 Swords, for reaching the peak 9-star level. The 4 Swords of Xuanhuan turned out to be at the late 9-star level. There's not a lot of improvement. But at this level, it is not easy to improve even a small level. Ye Chen's eyes lit up. Although he now has the strength of the 9-star peak level, his strength is definitely inferior to that of Emperor Lei Yuan. The 4 Swords of Xuanhuan have been upgraded to the peak level of 9 stars. Ye Chen knows that his strength will never be weaker than Emperor Lei Yuan. It is very likely that it will be stronger. Don't underestimate this little thing, sometimes it may be the difference between life and death. For example, if he is chased by many powerful people in the abyss plane, if he is a little stronger, he may be a little faster than the Lei Yuan Emperor. It's entirely possible to get rid of it. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-star later enhancement token. Sign in is successful, congratulations to the host for obtaining the exclusive strengthening token of Chaos Universe Technique, with a mid-level 9-star level. There are 2 more 9-star level rewards, but the levels are a little different. The exclusive strengthening token of Chaos Universe Technique must be given to Hanjian. The strengthening card in the late 9-star stage can strengthen Hanjian's Phoenix Red Flame to the late 9-star stage. Ye Chen secretly thought. Hanjian, stop practicing. Ye Chen sent a message to Luo Hanjian. Soon Luo Hanjian stopped practicing, and Ye Chen came to Luo Hanjian's side. The time acceleration of the time tower was adjusted by Ye Chen to 1,000,000,000 times. Hanjian, your skills and Phoenix Red Flame can be strengthened. Ye Chen smiled. A few days passed as time accelerated, and Luo Hanjian's skills and Phoenix Red Flame were strengthened. Luo Hanjian's strength here returned to the 7-star perfection. In about half a year, Luo Hanjian will probably be able to fully adapt. Her current cultivation level is 7-star perfection, and she will probably break through soon after she gets used to it. Phoenix Hanjian has improved Luo Hanjian a lot. Sure enough, 10 months passed. Boom! A powerful aura erupted from Luo Hanjian's body. Her cultivation reached the 8-star perfection level, catching up with Enlangxiu and the others, and her combat power reached the 8-star perfection level. Husband, I have made a breakthrough. Luo Hanjian's joyful voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Hanjian, keep working hard. You 6 are the last ones to break through to the 8-star level. You are the eldest sister. Try to reach the mid 8-star level as soon as possible. Ye Chen said with a smile. Good husband. Luo Hanjian also feels that as the eldest sister, her strength cannot be lower than that of Enlangxiu and the others. Hanjian, your cultivation time will be accelerated 500 million times. You are still at the early stage of 8-star cultivation. We have a lot of resources now, so you can still bear it. Ye Chen thought about it and transmitted his voice. Cultivating under 500 million times time acceleration, the time acceleration is 5 times faster, and the resources consumed are more than 10 times, which is not cost-effective from the perspective of input-output ratio. But it can allow Luo Hanjian to reach the middle stage of the 8th star much earlier. Husband, is it necessary? I'm not in such a hurry, can't we improve slowly? Luo Hanjian said doubtfully. Ye Chen smiled and said, we have enough resources, let's use resources to exchange for time. It's unnecessary to accelerate time blindly before you break through, God knows how long it will be stuck. Now that you have broken through, you should hurry up to the strength of the 9-star immortal level. With the strength of the 9-star immortal level, Luo Hanjian is also the top powerhouse here. Husband, listen to you. Luo Hanjian said. Time passed day by day, and Ye Chen did not sign in a year after the last sign-in. Accumulate more. The last time he signed in, the 4 swords of Zhu Xian were upgraded, and Luo Hanjian also benefited, and he had already got what Ye Chen wanted most. 2 years passed unknowingly. Boom! Luo Hanjian finally broke through again, and her cultivation reached the middle stage of the 8th star. The system has been strengthened a lot. Her life system is the 9-star immortal level, and the power of life swallowing is very strong. The power of the Phoenix Red Flame is also stronger. Luo Hanjian's strength has reached the early stage of the 9th star. Ye Chen himself did not use the 500 million times time acceleration, but under the 100 million times time acceleration, his cultivation has also improved a little in a few years. The combat power has naturally improved. Some more strong men have come to the light plane, and the Supreme Saint Word has also recovered. It's time to attract Emperor Lei Yuan and others to sign in. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. Several 9-star immortal strong men have come to the light plane, and many 7 and 8-star immortal strong men have come. Ye Chen is ready to make trouble again. His system needs to swallow more systems, and signing in can get better things. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 593. Emperor Lei Yuan, please go to the following location dash. Put the 4 plane token fragments into the teleportation array arranged here, and then activate the teleportation array. I will release the items after I receive them. You don't have much time. The distance was relatively far, so Ye Chen used the system's communication capabilities to directly contact Emperor Lei Yuan. Emperor Lei Yuan spent half an hour arriving at the place where Ye Chen said. Sure enough, a teleportation array was arranged. This teleportation array was arranged by Ye Chen himself. Ye Chen received an 8-star perfection level formation reward for signing in, and the formation he arranged was quite good. This formation can only be used to transport items, not any living beings. Check the formation immediately. See if you can crack it in a quarter of an hour. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a deep voice. He asked 4 strong men with good formation skills to act together. One of them had a formation level that reached the 9-star level. The other 3 are all only 8-star immortal level. Emperor Lei Yuan himself has a certain level in this aspect, but he is only at the 7-star immortal level. City Lord, the other party's 8-star perfection level formation cannot be cracked by us even if it takes a whole day, let alone a quarter of an hour. In addition, given the other party's level, it is very likely that the other party used serial teleportation. Things were teleported to another teleportation array, and the other teleportation array was immediately activated. The 9-star level formation master said immediately. Emperor Lei Yuan frowned and said, Are you sure that the opponent has an 8-star perfect formation level? Sure. Emperor Lei Yuan's face was gloomy. If so, the possibility that the other party is a remnant of the Yanhuang Empire is even lower. There are very few strong men left in the Yanhuang plain. The opponent must be a powerful formation mage, so the chance is undoubtedly lower. Continue to check and see if you can find some clues through this formation. Yes. About 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Ye Chen's voice once again sounded in Emperor Lei Yuan's mind. Emperor Lei Yuan, you should have arrived at the place. I haven't received anything yet. It seems that you want your son and disciples to die. Emperor Lei Yuan hurriedly said in his mind, Your Excellency, wait a moment, you will receive the plane token fragments soon, and you must let him go by then. Otherwise, if you want to trade with us in the future, you won't get any trust. Using a box to contain the plane token fragments, Emperor Lei Yuan placed the box into the teleportation array. Soon the teleportation array was activated. The space fluctuates and things disappear immediately. Emperor Lei Yuan tried to track him, but the 8-star perfect level space teleportation array had anti-tracking capabilities. Soon Emperor Lei Yuan failed to track him. The thing arrived in another teleportation array and was then teleported again. When he reappeared, the thing was in Yanhuang Eternal City. In the Yanhuang Immortal City, Ye Chen is waiting in full array. Xiaoliu and Yanhuang Eternal City were also ready, and Luo Hanjian paused her training at this time. Ye Chen felt that the 8-star perfect formation level was a little low, and he was worried about an accident. Call. Soon Ye Chen checked the space treasure that was transmitted. There are indeed 4 plane token fragments from the Yanhuang plane inside. This thing is not of great use to Emperor Lei Yuan. Even if there is only a 20-30% chance of getting Tianlong Supreme and the others back, it is still worth it for Emperor Lei Yuan. Tisk, tisk, 5 plane tokens from the Yanhuang plane are fragmented. Ye Chen's eyes showed excitement. The 5 fragments put together can already spell out a little more than half of the plane token. Ye Chen estimated that the plane token was probably broken into 9 pieces in total. Using these 5 plane token fragments, you can already fuse them to form a plane token. You can just fuse them in after you get the remaining fragments. Ye Chen secretly thought. After fusing the plane token, he can use the plane token to more easily sense the other plane token fragments. Dragon Supreme, you are free. You go back and talk to your father and let him know who you are. Ye Chen appeared in front of Tianlong Supreme and the others and said softly. During this time, he did not abuse Tianlong Supreme and the others. However, Tianlong Supreme and their treasures and their systems have all belonged to Ye Chen. Good. Tianlong Supreme said in a deep voice. The next second, Tianlong Supreme and the others arrived outside the Yanhuang Plain, and their figures appeared in the Skeleton City. Of course Ye Chen is not in Skull City now, but he is not far away. With Ye Chen's 9-star peak strength, there is no problem in sending them to Skull City. This is Skeleton City. Immediately Tianlong Supreme and the others judged where they were. Their faces were grim. A strong person from the light plane, you don't even intend to cover it up? Tianlong Supreme, Blood Sea Demon Lord. In the blink of an eye, a 9-star immortal level expert from the light plane in Skull City arrived at Tianlong Supreme and his companions. The Heavenly Dragon Supreme and the Blood Sea Demon possess the 8-star perfect level of strength. Their appearance in Skull City will inevitably attract the attention of the powerful here. It's us. My father made a deal with the strong man who captured us and redeemed us with plane fragments from the Yanhuang Plain. It's just that we didn't expect that it would actually appear here in Skull City. Tianlong Supreme sneered. The strong men from the light plane immediately told the news to the other strong men from the bright plane here. In the blink of an eye, more than 29-star immortal level experts from the light plane came over. The supreme word of God has indeed been restored. Another strong man at the peak of 9 stars came from the light plane. Now there are 2 strong men at the peak of 9 stars and 4 strong men at the late 9-star stage in the light plane. In the abyss plane, the deep sky demon lord has returned to the late 9-star level, but even so, there is only 1 peak 9-star and 1 late 9-star in the abyss plane. Dragon Supreme, you appear here. It is likely that a powerful person in the dark did this on purpose. It is to provoke a conflict between the abyss plane and our light plane. The other party should not be far away. Everyone, check carefully. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice. Heavenly Dragon Supreme nodded. He believes nothing. There are so many powerful people here in the light plane, and he doesn't think the other party will be so bold. In his opinion, these guys from the light plane are sending such a signal. They captured the person, so what? In their abyssal plane, they can only recognize it by pinching their noses. Dragon Supreme, looking at you, you don't seem to believe it. Another 9-star peak powerhouse who came from the light plane, the Holy Punishment Supreme Deo. His temper is much hotter than in the Holy Word plane. Don't dare. Tianlong Supreme said in a deep voice. The Holy Punishment Supreme sneered, you'd better not dare, even if we catch you, so what? If a war breaks out, our light plane will suffer some losses, and you will die. Dao Zun Tianlong and the others were furious. But there was nothing they could do. The strength of the light plane is indeed much stronger than that of the abyss plane. Farewell. Tianlong Supreme said in a deep voice, and they left quickly. The Holy Word Supreme and others have surrounded a large area here and are looking for clues carefully. Ye Chen was surrounded by them. But his strength is slightly stronger than that of the Holy Word Supreme and the Heavenly Punishment Supreme. It is not easy to find him in a large area in the light plane. After half a day passed, Tianlong Supreme and the others returned to Thunder City. After confirming that they were fine, Emperor Lei Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. Father, the guy who caught us, I feel it is very likely that he is the Holy Punishment Supreme from the light plane. They actually put us in Skull City, how crazy. Tianlong Supreme said angrily. Emperor Lei Yuan's face was gloomy. They had to respond, otherwise the light plane would definitely make further progress. If they continue to negotiate, they will definitely suffer. Issue a war mobilization order. All immortal powerhouses in the abyss plane, after receiving the war mobilization order, will all assemble and head to Skeleton City. Emperor Lei Yuan took a deep breath and said. They must have the courage to risk everything in order to suppress the arrogance of the light plane. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 594. The war mobilization order was issued, and a large number of immortal-level powerhouses from the entire abyssal plane quickly gathered towards Skeleton City. If there is no action, there will inevitably be a reckoning when things pass. The consequences are extremely serious. Back then, a war mobilization order was issued for the Xuanhuan plane and the Abyss plane. Bastard thing. The Holy Word Supreme and the others naturally got the news. All of them looked ugly. There are many top powerhouses coming from them, but the number is far less than the powerhouses from the Abyss plane. If the bloody battle ends, they will most likely suffer. Fellow holy punishment, the abyssal plane has forced us to a dead end. Now we only have two choices, either to retreat or to fight. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice. He was a little helpless. If the Holy Punishment Supreme had not spoken so strongly before, maybe it would not be so. Now they are embarrassed. The consequences of starting a war would be too serious. If they give in and retreat, they will lose face. The Holy Punishment Supreme frowned and said, although the Abyss plane has issued a war mobilization order, it may not really dare to fight with us. Let's negotiate with them first. Having said this, the Holy Punishment Supreme was a little helpless. The strong men in the Abyss plane have already risked their lives, and the possibility of conceding in negotiations is relatively low. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. A large number of powerful men from the abyssal plane gathered over. The war mobilization order only mentioned immortal-level powerhouses, but in fact a large number of immortal-level powerhouses also gathered here, and the entire Skeleton City was surrounded. In Skull City, the strong men in the light plane were a little nervous. The situation is about to break out. Everyone, please pay attention. People with immortal level cultivation should stand back. If you die, you will not be able to resurrect. If there is a war with those with immortal level cultivation, you should fight bravely to kill the enemy. Remember, you are in the Abyss plane. This is our territory. In the Abyss plane, even if it takes longer, you can be resurrected in the future. If the enemy dies here, he will not be able to be resurrected in the future. The domineering voice of Emperor Lei Yuan sounded. Damn it! In the Skeleton City, the faces of the Holy Word Supreme and others became even more ugly. Emperor Lei Yuan was ready for war. If they don't give in, a war will inevitably break out. In fact, before Emperor Lei Yuan and the others came over, some powerful people from the light plane also asked whether they should leave first to avoid the sharp edge of the Abyss plane. But they were rejected by the Holy Word Supreme. They chose this place as their stronghold and retreating would be giving in. They are strong men from the light plane. Brother Lei Yuan, let's have a good talk. War is the worst option for both of us. If our common enemy deliberately causes trouble, the other party will be very happy. The voice of the Supreme Holy Word sounded. Negotiations are possible, but you from the light plane must give us an explanation, otherwise we would rather go to war. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a deep voice. Brother Lei Yuan, please enter the temple to negotiate. Don't worry, we won't start a war against you. This is not in our interests. The supreme word of the Holy Word released a huge temple as he spoke. The temple appeared in the sky. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a deep voice, now we are in the Abyss plane. We are the masters and you are the guests. There is no reason to enter your guest's place. Another temple instantly appeared in the sky. The temple is 10,000 feet high and surrounded by countless thunders. This is the Thunder Temple, the treasure of Emperor Lei Yuan. It is a 9-star immortal treasure. Good. Holy Word Supreme and the others agreed. 10 of their 20-some 9-star immortal level powerhouses entered the temple. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others also entered the temple. In the Skeleton City, there are still a dozen 9-star immortal level strong men in the light plane, and there are also several strong men with 9-star immortal level strength in the abyss plane. It's really lively. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. He was making trouble, but he didn't expect that it would cause such a big thing. Emperor Lei Yuan directly issued a war mobilization order. This is extremely dissatisfying to the powerful people in the light plane. But this is not incomprehensible. There are so many strong men coming from the light plane just to put extreme pressure on the abyss plane. Coupled with some of the things he did secretly, Emperor Lei Yuan must be furious. With so many powerful people coming, even if they don't consume system energy and sign in directly, they are likely to get very good treasures. Ye Chen had a smile on his face. Of course, thinking this way, Ye Chen would definitely not just sign in like this. It is not difficult to capture some powerful people with systems in the chaos. Ye Chen now knows a lot of information about the powerful people in the abyss plane. He knows very well what kind of system many strong men have. There shouldn't be any results for a while. Let's practice and practice first. Brother Zion, long time no see, let's have a chat. Outside Skeleton City, many strong men from the abyss plane entered their treasure space. No one cares about this. When the fight breaks out, just those strong men come out to join the fight. Receive. Receive. Ye Chen's powerful power quietly entered the bodies of each of the strong men and controlled them. Then Ye Chen took these strong men directly into the Xuanhuan Eternal City. There are millions of immortal level powerhouses who came from the abyss plane, and hundreds of millions of immortal level powerhouses. The few people Ye Chen recruited are nothing among the massive powerhouses. It didn't take long for Ye Chen to recruit hundreds of people. They are basically at the immortal level of 4, 5, or 6 stars. The most powerful systems they have are only 7-star level, but there are quite a few of them. The combined power of hundreds of systems is very powerful. System, devour and digest immediately. Ye Chen said in his mind. Under the acceleration of time a billion times, Ye Chen's system devoured the power of those systems at the fastest speed. Time passed by minute by minute. It's a little strange that there are strong people in the outside world who can't contact their friends, but they don't worry too much, maybe they just have a sudden enlightenment and practice. After all, Ye Chen only accepted very few people. 3 days and 3 nights passed before I knew it. In the Thunder Temple, the Light Plane and the Abyss Plane are still negotiating. The Holy Word Supreme and others are planning to give in, but even so, they cannot give in immediately. Are they shameless? It will take at least 10 days and a half to negotiate. Host, it's done. The system's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. His system is very strong and he can devour and digest food very quickly. What's more, it is now being devoured and digested at a billion times accelerated time. System, consume all the devoured system power and sign in 3 times. Ye Chen took a deep breath and said in his mind. If you can't sign in to get a 9-star perfection level treasure this time, then it will be completely impossible to get a treasure of this level in the abyss plane. Ye Chen thinks it's still possible. Quantitative changes can lead to qualitative changes. There are enough strong people gathered here now. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-star perfect level of supreme swordsmanship. Ye Chen's eyes brightened. A 9-star perfection level treasure. Sure enough, quantitative changes led to qualitative changes, and a 9-star perfection level treasure was obtained in the abyss plane. This reward is also quite good. The 9-star perfect level of supreme swordsmanship can greatly enhance his swordsmanship. Using this, his combat power would be at the peak 9-star level, perhaps invincible. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host Eternal World Tree for being promoted to the 9-star perfection level. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host Xuanhuan Eternal City for being promoted to the 9-star perfection level. Ye Chen took a deep breath. Comfortable. 3 9-star perfect level rewards. He could not wait to shout 3 times outside to thank the old men from the Abyss Plane and the Light Plane. Xiao Liu's 9-star perfect level, Yanhuang Eternal City's 9-star perfect level, my Kendo fusion strength will also increase a lot. Hanjian is also a 9-star strong. Ye Chen felt that he was much more confident. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 595. System, equipped with supreme swordsmanship, strengthens Xiaoliu and Yanhuang Eternal City. Ye Chen said in his mind. After all, you still have to seize the time to get the rewards in place first. It would be great fun to get such a reward, but be discovered and killed by the enemy before the reward is actually received. Fortunately, this did not happen. With a billion-fold time acceleration, all 3 rewards were arranged in a short period of time, and both Xiaoliu and Yanhuang Eternal City reached the 9-star perfection level. Ye Chen's own strength is only half a step away from 9-star perfection. As long as his cultivation reaches the 9-star level, his strength will reach 9-star perfection. In the sky, inside the Thunder Temple. Negotiations are almost over. Although Emperor Lei Yuan and the others made a fierce fuss, they still didn't want to completely break up with the Plane of Light, so they made a little concession. Catch a wave of strong men and run away. Ye Chen came out of the Time Pagoda, his eyes sparkling. Xiao Yan, Xiao Lu, let me assign you a task. Ye Chen said. He wants to capture more powerful people with systems in the shortest possible time, and then run away. Although his strength has improved a lot now, it is not wise to directly confront a large number of powerful people in the Light Plane and the Abyss Plane. Soon Ye Chen assigned the tasks. The power of Xiao Yan and Xiaoliu spread out silently. The same is true for Ye Chen himself. Take it. Take it. Take it. Every second, Ye Chen and the others brought a dozen strong men into the Yanhuang Eternal City. When they arrived here, they could feel 3 extremely terrifying auras. With a slight threat, they quickly restricted their cultivation. In just 2 minutes, Ye Chen and the others had already brought more than 1,000 strong men into the Yanhuang Eternal City. Even if there are millions of immortal level powerhouses here and hundreds of millions of immortal level powerhouses, the disappearance of so many powerhouses still makes some powerhouses feel abnormal. What's going on? It seems that there are fewer strong people with medium cultivation. It seems to be missing. 2 8-star perfect level experts in the Abyss Plane discussed that they had obtained a powerful treasure and now had the strength of an early 9-star level. After a while, their consciousness would spread out to check. After just checking, they found something was wrong. Master, someone seems to have noticed something unusual. Xiaoliu sent a message to Ye Chen. System, summon. Ye Chen immediately said in his mind. He has already set a goal with his system. Just now, Xiao Lu and the others captured strong men from the Abyss Plane. Now, what Ye Chen summoned was a strong man from the Light Plane. His cultivation level is only at the early stage of 9 stars. In the Light Plane, the status is relatively high, and the system should be more than the 9-star early stage. Ye Chen is not very clear about the specific level. In the Skeleton City, Ota Tianzun was working hard. Under him is a woman from the Abyss Plane. He is the Plane of Light, the son of the Lord of Light. Being bored, he hid his identity and came here to have some fun. More than 29-star immortal level experts came from the Light Plane, and many 7 or 8-star immortal level experts also came. Tianzun Ota was not worried at all about safety. At this moment, Ota Tianzun's expression changed, and he felt an extremely powerful summoning power. With his initial 9-star strength, he simply couldn't resist this summoning power. Help! Ota Tianzun screamed at the top of his lungs, before being summoned away. Done. Ota Tianzun appeared in Yanhuang Eternal City. Walk. The space fluctuated and Ye Chen moved forward at an extremely fast speed. He is not teleporting directly to the floating city at the moment. After teleporting last time, Ye Chen was not sure whether it was safe over the floating city. Furthermore, Xiaoliu and Yanhuang Eternal City's 9-star perfection level strength, his strength that is close to 9-star perfection, will be suppressed to only 7-star perfection. Enemy. The remnants of Yanhuang. Chase. Oda Tianzun called for help, and the Holy Word Supreme and others heard him. Their consciousness spread out immediately and they discovered that Ye Chen was teleporting away. In an instant, Oda Tianzun and several of the most powerful experts arrived at the place where Ye Chen disappeared, and they followed the traces in the space. Ye Chen had left them just a second or two earlier. In this case, Holy Word Supreme and the others were absolutely confident that they could catch up with Ye Chen. But a few minutes later, Holy Word Supreme and the others were dumbfounded. They stopped. After chasing for a few minutes, they chased very far away, but they actually lost the chase. How is it possible? The other party seems to be stronger than us. Even if the other party's strength is not at the 9-star level, it is still almost the same. The only ones chasing behind were the Supreme Holy Word, the Supreme Holy Punishment, and the Emperor Lei Yuan. Their faces were ugly. The Supreme Holy Punishment said coldly, "Emperor Lei Yuan, we have already told you that there are other powerful people who are up to something, and you don't believe us." Emperor Lei Yuan said in a deep voice, "Have you obtained each other's soul aura?" "No." The Holy Word Supreme shook his head. His expression changed, and he immediately realized a problem. If the other party was fleeing at full speed, why couldn't they grasp the other party's soul aura just now? When they attack with all their strength and escape with all their strength, they should be able to feel the soul aura of the other party when their power is fully used. Emperor Lei Yuan sneered, "You too, there are only two possibilities. The first possibility is that the other party actually has the strength of the 9-star perfection level. The other party didn't use all his strength just now. The second possibility is that there are 9-star peak level experts around the opponent to help cover up his aura. In the Yanhuang plane, is there a 9-star perfection level expert, or is there two 9-star peak level experts?" The faces of the Holy Word Supreme and the Holy Punishment Supreme were ugly. They knew that the Lei Yuan Emperor was doubting their light plane again. Indeed, with the current situation in the Yanhuang plane, the possibility of a 9-star perfectionist, or two 9-star peak level experts, is extremely slim. Emperor Lei Yuan, maybe, the other party has a 10-star level system. The supreme way of the Holy Word. He was stunned for a moment after the words came out. Go back quickly. Not long after, the Holy Word Supreme and the others returned to Skull City. City Lord, our statistics found that about 2,000 strong men are missing. They are basically 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star level cultivation. One thing they all have in common is they have systems. There is a report from Thunder City. Emperor Lei Yuan's face was extremely ugly. When Tianlong Supreme and the others were released, he knew that Tianlong Supreme and the others had lost their system. But he didn't pay much attention to this. Tianlong Supreme and others have relatively high cultivation levels, and it is normal to seize their systems. But what would the other party do to capture so many 4-, 5-, and 6-star level experts at such a huge risk? It is impossible for a 9-star level expert in their system to take notice. Emperor Lei Yuan, even if the opponent has a 9-star level devouring system, with the opponent's strength, the system should have reached its limit long ago. There is only one possibility that the other party still needs so many systems, and his own system can be improved. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice. 10-star system. Emperor Lei Yuan took a deep breath and said. His heart was burning, and the same was true for the Holy Word Supreme and the Holy Punishment Supreme. If they can get the 10-star system, their strength potential will be greatly improved. Lord Holy Word, there is something you need to know. An 8-star level powerhouse arrived in front of the Holy Word Supreme and others. Your Lord, we will try our best to save you. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice that he did not recognize this 8-star powerhouse. Tianzun Aoda changed his appearance and came over. He didn't know the identity of Tianzun Aoda. The reason why Yechen summoned Oda Tianzun was because his system reminded him that the system possessed by Oda Tianzun was much stronger than his cultivation level. The 8-star strong man who came over looked sad. He sent a message, Lord Holy Word, it is the third master who was summoned away. What third master? The Supreme Holy Word spoke. His eyes widened as he spoke, are you sure it was the third master who was summoned? The third master of the light plane is the third son of the Lord of Light. There are countless women from the Lord of Light, but there are only 3 that I like, and each of them gave birth to a son from the Lord of Light. The Lord of Light doesn't care much if something happens to the other children, and they will die if they die. Nothing can happen to these 3 sons. Grass. The supreme punishment cursed, and both he and the Supreme Holy Word were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 596. Return to your original appearance, and tell me who you are. Yechen smiled lightly. In front of him was Oda Tianzun. Oda Tianzun is not his original appearance, and he has a good aura covering treasure. Yechen doesn't know the specific identity of Oda Tianzun at this moment. My lord Oda. You'd better let me go, otherwise you'll be in big trouble. Oda Tianzun looked proud and authentic, and he turned into his original appearance as he spoke. His whole body became a man of light. 100 meters tall, exuding a dazzling light. Light Clan, Oda Tianzun. You are the son of the Lord of Light. Yechen's eyes showed surprise, unexpectedly catching such a big fish. He has been to the light plane, and some powerful people in the abyss plane also know the information about the light plane. Yechen certainly knows the identity of Oda Tianzun. The light plane is different from the abyss plane. The light plane has a ruler. Oda Tianzun is the son of the Lord of Light, which is equivalent to the status of a prince of a country. His status is not weaker than that of the Holy Word, the Holy Punishment, and the Supreme Lord. That's right. Although your strength is good, it is not a wise choice to completely anger our light plane. Release me immediately. I don't need to pursue any further charges this time. Oda Tianzun said. Yechen's eyes flashed with brilliance. With Oda Tianzun in hand, he would definitely be able to attract many powerful people from the light plane here. It would be great to deal with many powerful people from the light plane here. It is impossible to release Oda Tianzun. If he were weaker now, Yechen might release Oda Tianzun. But he is already close to the perfect strength of Juxing, so he is afraid of a hammer. Tianzun Oda, just stay here obediently. Whether I let you go in the future depends on your performance. Yechen said softly. Oda Tianzun said sternly, imprisoning me, please consider the consequences. Yechen disappeared and he arrived next to Luo Hongjian. Luo Hongjian heard the conversation between Yechen and Oda Tianzun just now. Husband, do you plan to continue to target the strong men from the abyss plane and the light plane here? Luo Hongjian asked. Yechen nodded slightly. Luo Hongjian frowned and said, Husband, where are Enlan and the others? I'm a little worried about them. Although their strength is not weak, problems may arise over time. Perhaps there will be top experts with a special system that allows them to quietly enter and adapt to the environment. Yechen was also a little worried. Husband, not many big things happen in the major planes. If something big happens on the red flame plane, if something big happens here, will Emperor Lei Yuan and the others get in touch? Luo Hongjian said. Yechen pondered that he had recruited many powerful people with systems this time, and it was possible that Emperor Lei Yuan and the others would judge that he had a 10-star immortal system. The red flame plane is rather special. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others suspect that they may come from the red flame plane. If this is the case, the number of powerful people going to the red flame plane will greatly increase. Hanjian, what do you mean dash? Ye Chen asked. Luo Hanjian said, husband, Lei Yuan Emperor and the others are only as strong as the 9-star peak. You should be able to leave the abyss plane safely, right? Send me back to the red flame plane first. How about you come back then? I already have the strength of the 9-star early stage, and my strength in the red flame plane is even stronger. If I go back, you can safely deal with Emperor Lei Yuan and the others. Ye Chen looked at Luo Hanjian. Luo Hanjian truly regarded An Langxiu and the others as her sisters or family members. Their family also supported each other to get to where they are now. Just like now, if An Langxiu and the others had not stayed to guard the red flame plane, they would not have been able to leave the red flame plane so confidently and boldly. Husband, let's guard our home and wait for you to come back. Luo Hanjian said. Ye Chen reached out and hugged Luo Hanjian into his arms. He lowered his head and kissed Luo Hanjian. After a long kiss, Ye Chen said, okay, let's go back. You're right, we've been away for a long time, and Lan and the others are not safe there. Beware of some guys with powerful systems. Luo Hanjian said, husband, be careful, the outside of the abyss plane may have been blocked. Ye Chen did not immediately go outside the abyss plane. He once again approached Skull City. The large number of strong men gathered here did not leave. The Lei Yuan Emperor and the Holy Word Emperor are also here. The Holy Punishment Emperor is not here. He went outside the abyss plane and led many strong men to seal the abyss plane. Any strong man who tries to leave the abyss will be intercepted by them. Master, there are fewer 9-star level experts here. A dozen or so are missing. Xiao Yan's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. The 9-star perfection level of Yanhuang Eternal City is currently stronger than Ye Chen. There used to be about 40 strong men with 9-star immortal strength on both sides, but now there are still about 30 strong men with 9-star immortal strength. This strength is still very strong. Ye Chen secretly thought. Instead of doing anything immediately, Ye Chen stayed for a day to let Xiao Lu get used to it. Koyanagi is a bit extremely strong and can form a dojo, where he can easily break the limits of the world, but as long as he moves, he has to adapt to the environment of a place. Luckily it only takes one day. Holy Word Supreme, let the powerful people outside the abyss plane evacuate, otherwise if I die, Oda Tianzun will also die, and you will probably be in trouble by then. Say it to Emperor Lei Yuan, and many strong men in the abyss plane will also die by then. Ye Chen used the system's communication capabilities to contact the Holy Word Supreme. He is now quite close to Skeleton City, and he can actually contact the Holy Word Supreme through ordinary communication. Your name is Ye Chen, and you come from the Red Flame Plane. Did I make a mistake? The voice of the Supreme Holy Word sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Ye Chen narrowed his eyes. The Holy Word Supreme and the others really guessed that he might be related to the Red Flame Plane, but the Holy Word Supreme couldn't be sure at this time. He was just guessing. Everything you said is right, haha. Ye Chen smiled and said, but now, you should let the strong men from the abyss plane leave. It would be bad if Supreme Oda and the others die. I give you a quarter of an hour, that should be enough. The eyes of the Holy Word Supreme flashed, and he judged that Ye Chen wanted to leave the abyss within a quarter of an hour. Considering that Ye Chen is slightly stronger than them, it would be difficult for them to track Ye Chen if he leaves. Good. Ye Chen, don't hurt Oda Tianzun. Otherwise, everyone in the entire Red Flame Plane will be buried with him. The Holy Word Supreme said, he let many powerful people enter the treasures in his own space. He and Lei Yuan Emperor quickly left the abyss plane. Not only did he not plan to call the Holy Punishment Supreme in, He also planned to surround Ye Chen with the Holy Punishment Supreme and others. Some of them have powerful summoning systems, so they may not be able to summon the Supreme Being of Oda back. If Ye Chen is surrounded, Ye Chen may not dare to kill Supreme Aoda. Master, the number of 9-star level experts in Skull City has dropped to only 3. Xuanhuan reminded. There are still 13 9-star immortal level experts, all of whom are from the Abyss Plane. Emperor Lei Yuan is here. He was too lazy to go out. If he got the 10-star system, it would definitely not fall into his hands. In addition, if the fight leads to the death of Oda Tianzun, it will cause a lot of trouble. 13 9-star immortal level experts can cause trouble. Ye Chen's eyes sparkled. He used system communication, and the voice rang in Emperor Lei Yuan's mind. Emperor Lei Yuan, I am ready to leave. I will give you some gifts before I leave. You say goodbye to Thunder City silently in your heart, it will become history. Emperor Lei Yuan's expression changed. Contact Yalai immediately and ask her to summon me back. Emperor Lei Yuan said to a strong man beside him. The strong men around him have super long-distance communication capabilities. In addition, in Thunder City, Emperor Lei Yuan has secretly arranged for a small number of strong men, one of whom can be summoned from a long distance. In an instant, Emperor Lei Yuan allowed 8 of the other 12 9-star experts to enter the treasure in his own space. There are 4 9-star experts left, and together with the other experts, self-protection should not be a big problem. The Emperor Lei Yuan can do it to collect all the strong men here, but the strong men in Thunder City cannot summon so many of them. In just 2 seconds, Emperor Lei Yuan disappeared. Master, there are only 4 9-star level experts left in Skull City. The most powerful among them is only the mid 9-star strength. Xuanhuan said in surprise. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 597. There are only 4 9-star level masters left, and the strongest one is only in the middle 9-star level. Who is this looking down on? Xuanhuan, what is their specific cultivation? Ye Chen asked hurriedly. Xuanhuan said, Master, one of them is in the middle 9-star level, and the other 3 are only in the early 9-star level. There are 50 or 68-star masters. To be honest, this strength is actually not weak. Even if a 9-star perfect level master comes, they are enough to resist, and it is difficult for 2 9-star peak level masters to kill in. But Ye Chen's strength is not just like this. Since you give me a chance, I won't be polite. System, use the power of death to attack the strong man in the middle 9-star level. Ye Chen ordered in his mind. The system launched an attack instantly. The skeleton city has a strong defense, but the defense formed by a large number of masters here is very poor against the power of death. Boom! While the power of death was attacking, Xuanhuan, Xiaolu, Ye Chen himself, and Luo Hongjian concentrated their power to bombard one of the points. Boom! Under the attack of Ye Chen and his team, the defensive formation collapsed directly. The main formation was led by the strong man in the middle stage of the 9 stars. He was attacked by the power of death. The terrifying power of death entered his body and he had no intention of defending at all. Zhu Xian sword formation. The defensive formation was broken, and Ye Chen's Zhu Xian sword formation immediately enveloped the skeleton city. The next moment, the strong men in the skeleton city felt 4 extremely powerful auras, especially 3 of them, which were more terrifying than the auras of the Supreme Saint words. Everyone, pay attention, you will be fine if you don't attack. You will die if you attack. Ye Chen's murderous voice sounded in the minds of countless strong men in the skeleton city. The strong men in the skeleton city were all affected and could not see the existence of the other strong men. 2 9 stars are perfect. One is close to 9 stars perfection, and one is in the early stage of 9 stars. The 3 9 stars strong men who were not attacked by the power of death were stunned. Why does the enemy have such strength? The result of their discussion was not like this. Kill. The 3 9-stars in the early stage of the strong men had not yet completely defended themselves, and the attack of Ye Chen and his team came. Xiao Lu, Xiao Yan, Luo Hanjian, and Ye Chen himself, focus on one of them. It is better to cut off one finger than to hurt 10 fingers. The difference in strength between the 9 stars early stage and the 9 stars perfect stage is not small, but it is not so big that they can kill instantly. One-on-one can only hurt the opponent. The opponent will immediately use forbidden techniques. No. The strong man attacked by Ye Chen showed horror in his eyes. 4 terrible attacks came at him at the same time. Ye Chen and the other 4 together, there is no problem to defeat 10 ordinary 9 stars early stage characters, the strength is 10 times more than the target. This is enough to kill the opponent instantly. Puff. Xiao Lu is good at swallowing, and its power swallows the opponent's resistance. Ye Chen's sword energy cut the opponent's body into countless pieces. The flames of Xuanhuan Immortal City directly turned this 9 stars early stage strongman into nothingness. At this time, Ye Chen's immortal sword formation has not been broken. There are many strong men in the skeleton city. In fact, as long as a few people take action, it is enough to break the Xuxian sword formation, but everyone hopes that the rest will take action. As a result, few people take action. A 9-star strong man resisted and was killed. Ye Chen's cold voice sounded in the minds of many strong men. At the same time, Ye Chen and his forces focused on another 9-star early stage strong man. He had already used forbidden techniques. His strength temporarily reached the level of 9-star mid-stage. But facing the attacks of 2 9-star perfect level strong men, one close to the 9-star perfect level strong man, and 1 9-star early stage strong man, he was hit hard in an instant. His strength fell. He would die if he came again. I surrender. This 9-star early stage strong man shouted in horror. Collect. The strong suction acted on this strong man, and his figure disappeared. The next second he was received by Ye Chen in the Brahma ring. The Brahma ring is at the 9-star late stage level. It is completely enough to imprison this 9-star early stage strong man. Even if he burst out with all his strength, it would not be easy to get out of it. Boom. Ye Chen's Xuxian sword formation was finally broken. The strong man who attacked was much stronger. Ye Chen suffered a big impact, but it was not a big problem, he had a strong physique. The remaining 9-star early stage strong man was dumbfounded. One of the 2 9-star early stage companions seemed to be dead, and the other was missing now, and he was probably captured alive by the enemy. The 9-star middle stage strong man who was attacked by the power of death, his strength has fallen to only 8 stars. It is still accelerating. The power of life and death is constantly annihilated, and he will definitely die if he continues like this. You, surrender, or die. Ye Chen's voice rang in the minds of the 2 9-star strong men who were still alive. Surrender, surrender. The 9-star middle stage strong man who was attacked by the power of death and whose strength was greatly reduced hurriedly said, he knew that if he didn't surrender, he would die, and he would not be able to be resurrected. Collect. This 9-star middle stage strong man was immediately received by Ye Chen in the burning heaven ring. The power of death in his body stopped destroying. There was only one strong man in the early stage of 9 stars left in the skeleton city. He felt deeply helpless. There were many strong men in the skeleton city, but without anyone to organize them, they were like headless flies. They didn't even know where the enemy was. Of course, he himself didn't know. Immortal sword formation. Ye Chen's immortal sword formation once again enveloped the entire skeleton city. Everyone, pay attention. I have killed one of you 4 9-star level warriors and captured 2 alive. If anyone attacks again, it will be your turn soon. If you are killed by the power of my system, you will not be able to revive. Ye Chen's murderous voice sounded in the minds of countless warriors. Boom! The last 9-star early stage warrior was also attacked. He also had the strength of the middle 9-star after using the forbidden technique. Don't kill me, I surrender. Also severely injured, this warrior immediately said. So far, all 4 9-star level warriors here have been taken down by Ye Chen. Thunder City. Emperor Lei Yuan and his men immediately looked for the enemy here, but they didn't find any. In just over 10 seconds, the voice of an 8-star subordinate sounded in Emperor Lei Yuan's mind. The other party had a communication system. When the Xuxian sword formation was covering the area, the strong man from Thunder City could not contact Emperor Lei Yuan. When the Xuxian sword formation was destroyed, he finally succeeded in contacting him. City Lord, we have encountered a terrible attack. The enemy is 2 9-star perfect strong men, 1 close to 9-star perfect strong men, and another 9-star early strong man. One of the 4 9-star strong men here has died, and 2 have been captured. Upon receiving the message, Emperor Lei Yuan was dumbfounded. How long have they been away? Why is the enemy so strong? Summon me back immediately. Emperor Lei Yuan sent the message immediately, but his message was not sent successfully. The contact was interrupted. On the Skeleton City side, Ye Chen once again used the Xuxian sword formation. All 8-star strong men must not resist, and those who violate the rules will die. Ye Chen's cold voice rang in the minds of dozens of 8-star strong men. Collect! Collect! Ye Chen's powerful power enveloped the 8-star strong men one by one, and they quickly disappeared and were received by Ye Chen in the cage of Yanhuang Immortal City. Imprison your own cultivation. Don't think about making trouble. If you dare to do it with your strength, you will definitely die. Ye Chen said murderously. Retreat. Ye Chen did not touch the strong men below the 8-star level. He retreated at a high speed. He didn't know what methods Emperor Lei Yuan and his men had. Maybe they could get here in a very short time. In addition, the 7-star immortal level strong men were not a big threat to Ye Chen and his men. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 598. Emperor Lei Yuan does have a powerful trump card. He has a 9-star immortal super long-distance teleportation scroll. This thing is disposable. The effect is also extremely powerful. Using the teleportation scroll, Emperor Lei Yuan arrived at Skeleton City in less than 10 seconds. 9 9-star immortal level experts and many 7 or 8-star immortal level experts arrived outside instantly. Emperor Lei Yuan used the forbidden technique, and his strength temporarily reached the 9-star perfection. The huge thunder net covered a large area of Skeleton City in the blink of an eye. If Ye Chen had been greedy and hadn't left yet, he would have been enveloped in a thunder net. City Lord, people have left. Just left for a few seconds. 1 9-star immortal level expert died, and all the other 8-star and 9-star immortal level experts were captured. Immediately there was a report from Thunder City's strong men. With such strength, the opponent is more likely to have a 10-star system. Kill. Emperor Lei Yuan used the power of his system without much hesitation. His is the Thunder system. The system can launch a 9-star perfection level thunder attack, which is astonishingly powerful. Emperor Lei Yuan used the forbidden technique, and when his strength temporarily reached the 9-star perfection, the system's thunder attack effect was even stronger, reaching the limit of heaven and earth. Emperor Lei Yuan chose to attack Ye Chen. Emperor Lei Yuan didn't know what kind of soul aura the strong man took action here, but he knew what kind of soul aura Ye Chen had. The strong man who entered the red flame plane sent out a lot of information. Emperor Lei Yuan found that his system burst out with power. And the power attacks out? If the target is not nearby, Lei Yuan Emperor's system can explode with power, but the power will disperse into the world because the target cannot be found. This way. Emperor Lei Yuan immediately let many powerful people enter his treasure space. He tracked it out. However, the system's attack power is much faster than his own. It was more than 100 times faster than his forward speed. The direction Lei Yuan Emperor is following is correct. The power of thunder is approaching very quickly. Ye Chen felt danger. Just when the thunder power was about to hit him, Ye Chen instantly entered the Yanhuang Eternal City. The Yanhuang Immortal City is currently on full defense. However, the system's attack power is rather strange, and ordinary power is difficult to resist. 78% of the thunder power still passed through the defense of Yanhuang Eternal City. At this time, Ye Chen had already defended himself with all his strength. Xiaoliu, Luo Hongjian, and the 20 purifying sunflowers in Yanhuang Eternal City were all ready. It is worth mentioning that Xiaoliu's strength has dropped to only the 8-star level at this moment. Boom! 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 The defenses of Xiaoliu, Luo Hongjian, and Jingxi Sunflower were immediately broken through, and their power reduced the attack's thunder power by 20%. The original 10% strength is still 50% to 60%. Still extremely tyrannical. There is still 40 to 50% chance of breaking through Ye Chen's own defense. This force was destroying Ye Chen's body crazily. At the same time, the life force of Luo Hongjian's system poured into Ye Chen's body at an extremely fast rate. One force destroys, another force restores. Luo Hongjian's system is actually no weaker than Thunder Supreme's system, but her cultivation level is much lower, resulting in the system's power being much lower. Fortunately, only 40 to 50% of the thunder power actually entered Ye Chen's body. Ye Chen's own system is not vegetarian either. Ye Chen did not deliberately upgrade the devouring power of his system, but during the comprehensive upgrade of the system, the devouring power increased a lot. It can swallow a lot of thunder power. Ye Chen entered the time tower. With time accelerating a billion times, his injuries rapidly worsened. But this didn't last long. Ye Chen's own strength is very strong, 40% to 50% of the thunder attack power is not particularly terrifying, and Luo Hongjian's life system recovery ability is also very good. Ye Chen's 9-star peak physique is no joke. Only a few seconds after the outside world passed, Ye Chen's injuries began to recover. In about 10 seconds, with Luo Hongjian's help, Ye Chen's injuries completely recovered. Xuanhuan, help me increase my speed. Ye Chen arrived outside, and with the help of Xuanhuan, he moved forward at full speed. Severe breath leakage. But this is no longer important. Emperor Lei Yuan actually used the system to attack him, and the attack was successful. Emperor Lei Yuan must already know his identity, and there is no point in hiding it. Can you still run so fast? Emperor Lei Yuan quickly arrived at the place where Ye Chen was just now. You've been hit by the thunder attack of my system, let's see how long you can last. Emperor Lei Yuan's eyes flickered. In his opinion, even if Ye Chen's previous 9-star strength was perfect, it must now have fallen to only the 9-star peak. Only by using forbidden techniques can 9-star perfection be achieved. He also used forbidden techniques this time. But Ye Chen is injured, so the time he should be able to support will be much shorter. Half an hour later, Emperor Lei Yuan frowned. He was still chasing and didn't lose him, but why could Ye Chen still hold on? An hour passed, and Emperor Lei Yuan still hadn't caught up. After using the forbidden technique for so long, he could no longer bear it. Emperor Lei Yuan, where are you? The voice of a powerful person in the light plane sounded in the mind of Emperor Lei Yuan. This isn't the first time they've been in contact. The strong men in the bright plane outside already know the situation inside. But how could Emperor Lei Yuan easily tell Saint Word Supreme where he is now? Ye Chen's strength is so strong that it is basically certain that Ye Chen has a 10-star immortal system. Telling Saint Word Supreme and the others is equivalent to handing over the opportunity to obtain a 10-star immortal system. Emperor Lei Yuan will not be so stupid. Ye Chen should be unable to hold on, right? Emperor Lei Yuan thought to himself. He still did not tell the strong men in the bright plain where they are now. Unknowingly, another half an hour passed. Keeping moving at full speed, Emperor Lei Yuan can no longer hold on. Damn it, can Ye Chen's system still help him recover? Emperor Lei Yuan cursed secretly. He knew that he couldn't continue like this. Even if Saint Word Supreme and the others got the 10-star system, Ye Chen couldn't live. If Ye Chen stayed in the abyss plane, it would be a huge disaster for them. Tell fellow Daoist Shenjun that our current location is. Thunder Abyss Emperor said his current location. The system of the strong ones among Shenjun Supreme is the teleportation system, which can directly use the power of the system to teleport over long distances. Soon, Shenjun Supreme and his group appeared in the direction of Ye Chen's advance. Master, the space fluctuations were just sensed ahead. Xiao Yan's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Finally here. Ye Chen muttered. He knew that if Thunder Abyss Emperor couldn't hold on, he would definitely notify Shenjun Supreme and his group. It was related to the 10-star system. Shenjun Supreme, Shenfa Supreme, and their group would definitely come in. Break. Ye Chen used the forbidden technique. He tore through the space and quickly left the abyss plane. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 599. Ye Chen's strength was already close to the 9-star perfection level. After using the forbidden technique, he reached the 9-star perfection level. And it's still the ultimate 9-star perfection. Ye Chen is escaping from the abyss plane. Chase. The Supreme Holy Word, the Supreme Holy Punishment, and the Emperor Lei Yuan immediately tracked them out. Ye Chen took the first step. After Ye Chen used the forbidden technique, his strength was stronger than that of the Holy Word Supreme and others. Holy Word Supreme and the others have not yet arrived outside the abyss plane, but Ye Chen has already arrived. There are strong people left in the light plane outside. The most powerful one is a late 9-star character. There are 6 9-star level experts in total, and there are also some 7 and 8-star level figures. The strength is not weak. But the abyss plane is so huge that it is simply impossible for them to seal the abyss plane. Beautiful beauty, devouring life. Target Fain Tianzun. Ye Chen said quickly. Luo Hanjian's current mid-8-star cultivation and early 9-star strength have been accumulated for a long time, and the power of her system's life-devouring power has reached the late 9-star level. Ye Chen didn't let Luo Hanjian use it before. Good husband. Luo Hanjian immediately used her life-devouring ability, and Fain Tianzun immediately felt the life force in her body passing away at an extremely fast speed. As his vitality decreases, his strength will decrease and he may even die. Boom. Countless sword energies formed the Stegosaurus. The Stegosaurus rushed forward at great speed, heading towards the weak spot blocked by a group of strong men from the light plane outside. At the same time, Yanhuang Immortal City bombarded with all its strength. Luo Hanjian used her forbidden technique to attack with all her strength, and her strength temporarily reached the mid-9-star stage. Koyanagi attacks with all his strength. 20 mid-7-star Pure World Sunflowers also exploded with full force. All attacks hit one point. Even if the Holy Word Supreme or the Holy Punishment Supreme are outside and they take charge of the formation in person, they may not be able to withstand the attack. Now that Fa and Tianzun in the main formation was attacked, he was still a little panicked. Boom. Outside the abyss plane, an extremely violent explosion sounded. The trap formed by many powerful people in the light plane collapsed. The Stegosaurus flies away at great speed. Chase. Less than 3 seconds after Ye Chen left, Holy Word Supreme and the others came outside and found that Ye Chen had broken through. They were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. Ye Chen broke through too fast. The Holy Word Supreme and Holy Punishment Supreme immediately chased after him. Emperor Lei Yuan stopped chasing him. The side effects of using the forbidden technique for so long are already severe. It would be okay to chase him out and take action for a while, but it would be impossible to chase Ye Chen for a long time. Damn it! After chasing for a few minutes, the Holy Word Supreme and the Holy Punishment Supreme discovered a problem. The distance between them and Ye Chen did not get closer, but instead became farther away. They will use the forbidden technique now and have the same 9-star perfect strength, but Ye Chen's strength before using the forbidden technique was stronger than theirs. Fellow Holy Word, let those who have the attack system use the system's attack power. The Holy Punishment Supreme preaches the message. Good. The supreme way of the Holy Word. They immediately discussed with the other 9-star level experts. Although they were all experts from the light plane, they were not the superiors of the other experts. If you want the other 9-star immortal level experts to help, you must promise them benefits. Holy Word Supreme, Holy Punishment Supreme, if you continue to pursue me, Ota Tianzun will die. You guys think about the consequences. Ye Chen's voice sounded in the minds of Holy Word Supreme and others. Ota Tianzun also sent messages to many powerful people at this time, asking them not to attack Ye Chen. Damn it! Holy Word Supreme and the others secretly cursed in their hearts. Many powerful people did not agree to do this. In fact, not many of them have powerful attack systems. Ye Chen now has the top 9-star perfect strength, and Ye Chen also has powerful helpers. Even if there are multiple systems attacking together, Ye Chen may not die. Ota Tianzun will die. If Ye Chen is killed and a 10-star immortal system is obtained, the benefits will belong to the Holy Word Supreme or the Holy Punishment Supreme, but they will have to bear the consequences together. Also, if the Supreme Holy Word or Supreme Punishment obtains the 10-star immortal level system, it is possible that they will not return to the light plane, and their strength in the light plane will be reduced. Stop it! After chasing for a while, the Holy Word Supreme spoke. The Holy Punishment Supreme stopped unwillingly. They were further away from Ye Chen, and it would be impossible to catch up with Ye Chen if this continued. And they couldn't ignore Ye Chen's threat. In order to obtain the 10-star system, if they continue to track and lead to the death of Ota Tianzun, they will not be able to explain to the Lord of Light after returning to the plane of light. Call. Ye Chen breathed a sigh of relief after confirming that Holy Word Supreme and the others were no longer following him. Husband, the Holy Word Supreme and others suddenly appeared in front of us. Some of them may have a powerful transmission system, and they may block us. Luo Hanjian said. Well, let's go around for a while. Ye Chen said. Instead of ending the forbidden technique immediately, Ye Chen continued to move forward at full speed. With his physique and the support of Luo Hanjian's life force, it would not be a big problem for him to support him more. The Holy Word Supreme and the Holy Punishment Supreme did not rush in front of Ye Chen. There are indeed strong ones among them who have powerful teleportation systems. This is easier to use within the plane. When teleporting between planes, the distance is not very far. Furthermore, after a long-distance transmission, the system also needs buffering. Even without using the forbidden technique, Ye Chen's current strength is close to the 9-star perfection. In less than 2 months, Ye Chen has already approached the red flame plane. Husband, after sending me to the red flame plane, you'd better leave. If you were here, we would all be trapped inside the red flame plane. You are outside, the enemy dare not act rashly. Luo Hanjian said. The Holy Word Supreme and others now know his identity, and Ye Chen is a little confused. Should he stay in the red flame plane or leave? In the red flame plane, even if there are more strong people gathered here, even if he is strong now, the limit of the red flame plane is there, and it will be difficult to sign in and get top good things. Knowing that he has a 10-star immortal level system, there will definitely be many strong people here. When enough powerful people gather, it is possible for the red flame plane to be completely destroyed. If this happens, if the red flame plane is destroyed, they will also die. Ye Chen nodded slightly. It would indeed be better if he left. As for taking An Langxiu and the others away, that won't work. Many strong people will enter the red flame plane. When they adapt to the environment of the red flame plane, they will destroy the red flame plane faster. Luo Hongjian is now the plane master of the red flame plane. If the red flame plane is destroyed, Luo Hongjian will die. Moreover, Ye Chen and the others are still thinking about the future fusion of the red flame plane and the Yanhuang plane. If the red flame plane is destroyed, how to integrate it? Hongjian, be careful. If you imprison Supremo Da and the others, they should still be useful. Ye Chen said. This time on the Abyss Plane, Ye Chen and his 9-star level experts killed 1 and captured 4, and 8-star level experts captured 50 or 60. I also caught some earlier. They are heavy chips. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 600. As Ye Chen expected, there were some powerful people gathering outside the red flame plane. But it's not a big problem. At present, he has a 10-star system. This news has not spread. The top experts are not interested in coming, and the average expert Ye Chen who has arrived here simply ignores it. Ye Chen easily entered the red flame plane. Zi Lanyan was relatively close to Ye Chen, and she immediately noticed Ye Chen's entry. Zi Lanyan and the others are still very strong in the Qiyan plane. Like Zi Lanyan, her 8-star combat power is perfect. In the past, Tu Guman, the lord of the red flame plane, did not have such strength. Husband. Zi Lanyan's surprised voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Ye Chen's return was later than they expected. Hongjian, gather Chang'e and the others together. Ye Chen smiled. Luo Hongjian nodded. She was in the late 9-star stage in the Xian plane. It turns out that this is also the strength. Even if she is the master of the plane, the limit of the world of the Xian plane can only support Luo Hongjian to achieve such strength. If the red flame plane and the Yanhuang plane merge in the future, the limits of the merged plane will immediately increase. Regardless of the fact that Yanhuang plane's current ranking is very low, after all, Yanhuang plane was once in the top 10. He was a down-and-out noble, and he still had some background. If the red flame plane and the Yanhuang plane merge, they can learn from each other's strengths. If they kill a lot of enemies, they can also seize the luck of the enemy's plane. When the time comes, the level of the Yanhuang plane will continue to increase. Husband. Brother-in-law. Luo Hongjian is the master of the plane, and she quickly gathered Luo Yudi and the others. Seeing Ye Chen and the others returning, Luo Yudi and the others were extremely happy. But knowing that Ye Chen would leave soon, Luo Yudi and the others felt a lot disappointed. Wives, let's enter the time tower. I will stay with you in the time tower for a while. Ye Chen smiled. Even if they stay outside for 3 to 5 days, they still have to worry about the Holy Word Supreme and others chasing after them and sealing off the red flame plane. In the time tower, Ye Chen had been with Luo Hongjian and the others for 3 to 5 years, and the time in the outside world was also very short. Ye Chen and the others gathered together. The time acceleration of the time tower cannot be very high, but 1,000,000 times is not a big problem. Ye Chen adjusted the time acceleration to 1,000,000 times. Only a little time has passed in the outside world, but 3 years have passed in the time tower. Husband, you have to be careful. Husband, we are waiting for your return. Luo Hongjian and the others were reluctant to leave. It has been exposed that Ye Chen has a 10-star system. They know that this time they are separated, it may take a long time to meet again next time, and it may even be a permanent farewell. The Abyss plane and the Light plane are not easy to deal with. Hanjian, don't worry too much. For the time being, the Abyss Plane and the Light Plane should not spread the news that I have a 10-star system. It's just the two of them. Ye Chen smiled. When the news is fully exposed, the pressure will be even greater. You must know that the planes in the plane of light are only ranked third. The planes ranked first and second are stronger, and they may all take action. Husband, you must be good. Luo Hanjian stepped forward and hugged Ye Chen, and she took the initiative to kiss Ye Chen. With her taking the lead, En Langxiu and the others kissed Ye Chen goodbye one by one. Gone. Ye Chen was also reluctant to give up, but he had no way out. Ever since he got the system, he has actually been on a path of no return. Either reach the top or perish. Since we have a 10-star level system, it is impossible to be a salty fish forever. Ye Chen disappeared. Luo Hanjian and the others' eyes were red. Ugh. Luo Yudi was the first to cry uncontrollably. Lu Qianqian shed tears for the second time. They wouldn't have been like this before, because they knew that Ye Chen's safety was relatively guaranteed. Ye Chen is very strong now, but it's really hard to say whether he's safe. If the news that Ye Chen has a 10-star system is fully exposed, there will be many enemies. Sisters, please stop crying. All we can do is protect the red flame plane. We must not fall into the hands of the enemy and hinder our husband. Luo Hanjian said seriously. There were actually tears in her eyes. But as the eldest sister, she resisted crying. Yes, eldest sister. En Langxiu and the others said. Outside the Xian plane, Ye Chen quickly moved away. He made his plane battleship appear. This plane battleship was still the original one, with an 8-star perfection level. Later, Ye Chen did not obtain a stronger plane battleship. Ye Chen didn't get a 9-star battleship from Oda Supreme and the others. Let's go to the Yanhuang plane first. Ye Chen set the route. He was a little nervous. Before traveling through time, he was from the Yanhuang plane. Going to the Yanhuang plane is like returning to his hometown. It's been many years since I left. I don't know what's going on Earth. Ye Chen secretly thought. The system's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind, Host, there won't be much difference on the other side of the Earth from before you left. After you leave, the speed of time passing there will slow down 100 times. Ye Chen's eyes showed surprise. Because you left? Ye Chen said. The system is the heart of Yanhuang, and its departure will have a great impact on the Earth. The system said. Ye Chen did the math and found that he had been practicing under accelerated time for a long time, but in reality, the total time that had passed was actually only more than 100 years, which was not that long. If the passage of time is reduced 100 times, only 1 or 2 years will pass on the Earth. System, how long did it take you to go from the Yanhuang plane to the Red Flame plane? Ye Chen asked. At his current speed, it won't take long to go from the Yanhuang plane to the Red Flame plane. 1 year is enough, and it should take more than that long for the system to move from the Yanhuang plane. About 100 years. The system said. In other words, a total of more than 200 years have passed, and I have been missing on the Earth for more than 2 years. Ye Chen murmured to himself. This time is not long and it is relatively easy to accept. However, since he has been missing for more than 2 years, his parents would have been extremely worried in his previous life. System, do you think it is the right choice for me to return to the Yanhuang plane now? Will it affect that side? Ye Chen said a little nervously. The system said, Host, it's up to you to make your own choice. You are already very strong, and you can make your own decisions on such matters. Ye Chen took a deep breath and decided to go back and take a look. What if the Yanhuang plane is in trouble now? The Yanhuang plane ranks more than 2,800 times. Powerful planes like the Abyss plane and the Light plane have no interest in dealing with the Yanhuang plane anymore, but the King of Hell is gone, and the kid is still there. Planes that are rank similar to the Yanhuang plane may target the Yanhuang plane. My parents don't know what's going on. If they knew that I found 6 daughters-in-law for them, they would probably be frightened. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. Brothers, this book is currently being held in the palm reader, you can go to the lottery.